Hello, this is Tracy from Inspired Chi with your Insight Reveal. This time we were taking a look at your career path, soul's purpose, a little bit of insight, something maybe you have considered, and this is just some confirmation, or something you haven't considered at all. So we have a couple decks at play here. We have the Philly Tarot because we are in Philly, and I always do use a tarot deck regardless of the reading that we're doing. We have the past lives deck here just to get a little insight from your past, and also inspired by our last episode with AJ, which airs on Monday. And we have the Healing Light Lenormand. Again, I apologize to the traditionalists with this. I'm using this for strictly image of the cards in this particular question that we're posing. And the Life Purpose cards by Doreen Virtue, which incidentally we just used in our last reading. So if you are an Oracle deck person and you're curious as to what these cards are, that is what we're working with. We've sent a little good positive energy. We went in and cleared some energy where it comes to the life purpose, and we're actually pulling in an energy of money and abundance and prosperity. And the reason that we're doing that is to be able to live our life's purpose and soul's mission and still have enough, and not have to quit while we're ahead about desperate situations, because that happens to a lot of us when we're trying to live our dream and bills still need to be paid. So we're not going to think about any of that except really positive energy around your money and abundance situation, regardless of what this soul purpose is, whether it's traditionally makes you a lot of money or not. As long as you will be comfortable, we're sending that energy in for any of these paths that may be pursued or that you may be pursuing. If you chose to. Oh, light and love. Okay. Light and love from the Life Purpose deck. Your purpose is to bring divine healing light and love to this world. So these are the earth angels. These are the indigo. These are the people that lift others up, and not even just in a spiritual way. If you're connected to a spiritual path and being a light worker and energy healer in that sense, you might digest this a little bit better. If you don't have an experience there, just know that your higher calling, see, that's coming from our heart chakra, is a heart-centered business where you can be helping others and really have that earth angel energy where your life's mission, I doubt it's your first time. I doubt it's the first time that you are being sent here to bestow light and love upon the collective. That's part of your purpose. Ooh. I feel like your path hasn't always been smooth sailing, and you may have a little bit of a rescuing complex, which in a love relationship is not very positive. However, in a career, that can be very interesting. So because we have the boat here, we're going to talk about the Navy. We're going to talk a little bit about a sea captain, if that's a calling that you have. But also over here, this rider card kind of reminds me of somebody kind of who swoops in to save the day. So you could be anything from an EMT to a police officer, which we just had this in the last reading with one. There was a lot of energy here. Farming, a lot of different things come to mind. What comes to your mind when you see these images, and then you think about that and how that might relate to light and love. I can't wait to see how we go a little bit further into that. Monk or nun. So this is interesting, right? So you have the light and love over here, which is the earth angel heart-centered, and the monk or nun, having a past life steeped in some type of tradition where you dedicated yourself to, healing, in the sense of whether that was in a religious or spiritual way. You devoted yourself in that way, so much like you're devoting yourself in this lifetime to bring healing, light, and love. And there may be some rescuing here. 2 tarot cards. What do we got over here? Ooh, whoa. Okay. So we have the 9 of, in this deck particularly, it is the 9 of Pens for William Penn. So you'll see that feather is the pen. They're dealing with feathers over swords. But traditionally, this is the 9 of Swords. So this is dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. And the Ace of Cups, traditionally in this sense, it's cheesesteaks. But traditionally, that would be the Ace of Cups and the filling up. And that would be the beginning of something that you really, really loved. I'm getting the energy that the person who chose this, if you're choosing to, that you are in a little bit of a, I hate to call it a midlife crisis, but a whole your job that you're in right now may be extremely stressful, and it doesn't really bring you any type of energetic healing or happiness. You don't love it, because this is a card of loving something, but this is also the card of something brand new coming in that you can love. Then over here, being really stressed out is like, I really want to do what I love, but I have all this other stress. And it kind of reminds me of like when you have somebody in this high pressure, like Wall Street job, and they quit and become, like a yogi or something a little bit more spiritual, or become like an artist and just throw everything that they've known away that has been stressing them out over the material things, which denotes a lot with the swords here too, that, expansive thinking, that dollar, not in the same way that pentacles is more of like a manifestation and a long-term thing. This is like really stressful, pretty stressed out. So let's see here. I'm just going to pull 3 more cards on this to see what other information that we have here and just do a quick recap. We definitely have a past in some type of religious service, whether that was traditional religion or that was something spiritual. A life where you devoted yourself to God or whatever God would have been to you in that lifetime, in that spirituality. An energy of light and love, bringing that in from your heart center, almost like an earth angel into this life. Struggling somewhere with, a very stressful job where you're, rescuing people. I can feel like a fireman. I can feel, or woman, I have this energy of just this cowboy that's running in, and it's become maybe very stressful. And maybe you once loved that because of the protection and light and love that came along with it, but lately feeling just like it's just been too much and wanting to get back to that beginning, that first love, that first spark. What do we got here? Yeah. Ooh, okay. So, hey, twos, I think you had the King of Pentacles in your reading last time. If you got last week's reading, this one is intended to be timeless, but if that was the full moon, I know the King of Pentacles was there. It's actually Will Smith in this deck. You gotta love that, right? King of Pentacles, Will Smith. But that's really good. So we have the High Priestess, which talks about the inner knowing. You have the Sun over here, which brings, positivity and light. So once again, somebody shining light and bringing light from a very spiritual place. So you're calling where you're going to find the most success and happiness. And when I say success, it doesn't always come in a dollar amount, but where you're going to find the things that really feed your soul is when you can help people on a spiritual level, rescue them in a way that they can then rescue themselves and have a brighter future in the positivity and the happiness and the light. And again, there's another angel here. So many angels. So many angels when it comes to your life purpose. I feel like this probably isn't your first rodeo, and this is probably an energy that you kind of always felt connected, or something has happened more recently to make you feel connected, because the High Priestess is the card that I look at and I think, oh, this person is very in touch with their intuition. They're being divinely guided. And then the King of Pentacles is, he deals with health, money, manifestation, education, learning, and just being very grounded and having something continuous that can feed from time to time to time. Not just, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to make a lot of money, and then we're going to be broke again. This is something that there's a longevity here. There's a longevity not in only what you're creating, but what you're manifesting. And also here is the King, getting to that place where you no longer have to worry about that. So look at that. That is what's directly related when I think of Pentacles in the higher sense. And the Queen of Pentacles too. When we're talking about, the woman who has it all figured out and together in that sense. So I feel like once you get past whatever stressful job that you were in that was maybe satisfying to you at one point in time, I feel like it had to do with helping people, but maybe in a different way, in a more structured, formal way. And I feel like you're going to get a lot more satisfaction out of being able to help people on a more spiritual path. So that could be through religion, spirituality, or just being able to have open-minded conversations with people in whatever setting that is. So philosopher, maybe? You tell me. If you are listening to this and watching this and it resonated, please tell me what profession you were in or thinking about, or if it didn't at all. I hope that you will get some more clarification in synchronicities and messages over the next days and weeks after you watch this to maybe shed some light on that information. Head over to www.inspiredsheradio.com to book a personal session if you want to get a little bit more insight about this subject or other subjects. All right. Thank you for participating.